Good morning, mother bitches. I'm sorry, did that offend you? Your level of sensitivity offends me on the daily. I just thought you should know that because, you know, we're always projecting our thoughts and feelings over the internet because we're too weak to say in person. Anyway, I'm moisturised, I'm primed. That means we're doing something. What am I doing here? I'm mixing up a concoction of foundation. I'll let you know what it is in a minute. So I am recreating some of my creative looks that I've done into beauty versions. I thought this would be a pretty good challenge for me because sometimes I just don't know when to stop. So it'd be nice to stop it at like a beauty wearable version. Some of you might think this isn't wearable. Mate, everything's wearable, okay? Everything's wearable. It's not going to kill you. And the less you care about what people think, the better off you are. Okay, so we're going to go out today and we're going to rock this. So I am got Tarte Dewy Skin Cream on. I have Tarte Quench Primer as usual. I am using a different foundation concoction today, so I just wanted to show you that. And we are inspired by this look today. Okay, so we're going with browns, golds, might do a smoky wing. Right, so on my hand today, I promise I'm okay. On my hand today, I've been using this the last few days. I've been trying to find a dupe for my, not a dupe, because it's the same fucking brand. I've been trying to find an alternative to Pro Glow, Infallible Pro Glow, because they took it off the market and I hate them for it. But this is the Infallible 24-hour fresh wear. I've been liking it. Now, to give it a little bit more base and to lighten up the colour, I'm taking the Juvias Place Concealer. I'm actually going to mix the two together. Is this going to work? You never know unless you give it a go, mate. And I'm pretty sure I just nailed that colour. And we're going to buff that in. Oh, wow. Coverage. You can definitely, like if you have more of a sheer foundation, you can definitely mix a little bit of your concealer in because concealers are, majority of the time, more of a fuller coverage. So you can get a bit more bang for your buck that way if you don't want to keep buying different foundations. All right, we're being quite aggressive. I'm going to try get 3 looks out the way today. Wow, that has really ramped up that coverage. It does feel a little bit more like your face would almost crack if you smiled. Oh God, throat. Got some neck knee happening there. So build up with the sponge. All right, we're going back in with the Juvias. It's probably very light for me at the moment, but we're just going to commit. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a spot there. Oh, this is a lot. It's a lot of concealer. That'll do him. I like to use the blender for concealer because chances are there is leftover foundation in my blender. If my concealer is looking a little bit too light, the foundation's going to mix in with it and it's going to dull the brightness down. Yeah? It's going to mix all in one. But it's actually not that bad. It's working in quite nicely. Great. Now I have been doing cream contours the last few looks, as you've noticed. And cream contour is actually quite horrific if you don't do it right. Which is me every time I do cream contour. I don't cream contour my clients. I think it's a load of shit. It's not necessary, but because I'm overdoing it, let's just do it. All right, so I've been contouring with the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. This is in Deep Dark 18C. See, what does that say? 18C1. All right, so we just are literally couple of spots on the head. Guys, this concealer, I can't stress enough, is off its tits. It will ruin your face. Right, Little bit there, okay? So we're going to work that in with the contour. Nose, I'm not going to put it on. I've learned the hard way. I'm going to put a little bit on the back of my hand. I'm going to use the very tip of a brush onto my hand to get that on my nose. A little bit there. And I always suck at a jawline contour, but guess what? We're going to do it. So I'm fearless today. All right, just going to take a small brush. You can use a blender, but I like to use the brush. Look how far it goes. All right, and I'm using circular motions. I find that cream contours go better onto more of a hydrated base rather than matte foundations. It's just something I've found in my studies over the years. All right, and the foundation brush is going to save your ass because you can use that to re-smooth everything out. So if everything's looking a bit sharp, like, oh fuck, take your foundation brush, give it a dab over, voila. Right, if you have a massive head like I do, let's contour it. If your head starts here, wouldn't fuck with it. Leave it be. I'm not naturally chiseled. Do you know, like when I take my selfies, all like hell suck in. The nose. Be careful with the nose, okay? You can always add, don't go gun-ho. Just be very careful. I've only taken a little bit here. If you want to diffuse it on your hand, do it beforehand. See, look at that. Look, there's tiny, tiny amount on that brush, but it's going to be enough. Do this all before you set your face. You want the wet foundation to work to your advantage, to help with your blending. It'll become seamless. You try and cream contour over powder. Good fucking luck to you, sis. This is just minimal, little bit at a time to look normal in real life. But saying that, guys, you don't have to cream contour. I could get this with powder. There's a motherfucking fly in here. I'd say I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to set it into place. Make sure you're happy with it before you set, otherwise you're stuck with it. Then you're going to blame everyone else. You're going to blame the products. All right, we are setting these areas with Laura Mercier, obviously. We like this powder here. Very minimal, though. I'm not baking anything. I'm just tapping it off. Pressing out any creases first and giving it a very light tap. So I'm not disturbing the base. I'm hardly touching the skin, to be honest, with the brush. Fuck off. So I'm going in with the Ofra Versatile, that's not it. Ofra Rodeo Drive Highlighter. So it doesn't look like a powder. It literally just looks like glossy skin. Okay, I've been living for the Morphe brow pencils lately. And not because I'm on their PR now. They sent me some to try and I actually really like them. I went out and bought another 15 for my clients to use. All right, it's got a little brush on the end, a little spoolie. Give your brows a bit of a brush into the direction and just start filling in. You can really sculpt your brows or you can give them a quick shading in the bald areas, right? It'll still define your brow at the end of the day. Just depends on your preference. Okay, got the brows on. Now I'm going to take some Too Faced Sculpting Concealer. Sculpting Concealer, little bit, because it's full on. And I'm going to leave the foundation on my lids and I'm just going to carve out the brows. So tiny, tiny amount there. We're going to make them real sharp. You know I'm into this. If you're not into this, guys, don't do it, okay? right? And we're just going to put a tiny amount of concealer on the lids. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work that in with my finger. Finger's great for melting product into the skin. BPerfect Tahiti, love Tahiti, palette Carnival 3, yeah? Just because it's on my desk. I have many, many more palettes. You can use any palettes for this, whatever browns you got. I'm going with black, brown, bronzes. Quite simple. We're going in with black first. I'm just going to hammer it on. No fear. Guys, starting out with black is a little scary. Okay, I'm not scared because I've just washed it off and it looks shit. But if you're not used to doing these kind of looks, going with your browns first and then deepen with the black at the end. Okay, now I've got a towel, a manky ass towel in front of me, and I'm wiping off the excess. I'm not cleaning my brush, but I'm wiping off the black because I don't want to spread too much black. And we are literally just going to diffuse the edges. Oh, this looks great. Okay, we're going to start putting our browns in. Taking the same brush, wiping it on my manky towel. I'm going to go in with the shade Cocoa. Okay, which is a brown. It's brown, quite a warm brown, just a heads up. All right, and I'm going to press that into the base to get full opacity. I want this brown to really have its moment. And let's take that right into the inner corner. I'm gonna look like a bad bitch. I can just see it. All right, I look like a moth. Can anyone see moth? Like if I did like a white spot on each, can you see? Dunno. Right, wiping my brush off on that towel again and softening the edges. It really is very repetitive, and after you've done this millions of times, you're going to get quite bored with it. That's why I like to entertain myself with doing these videos, guys. Okay, I've taken that quite high. We're running out of room before the brow. So we're just going to be very strategic with this next step. Now, there's no light beige. That's actually quite orange in real life. Oh, fuck it. I'll go with that then. We are going quite bronzy, orangey. All right, so I'm going to take the shade Sand and we're going to set the brow bone. If you've ever gone too high with your mid-tone, this is what saves your ass. So we're going to cut a crease. We're going to do it. And I want to make this quite severe. So let's start it at that height. Right there. Okay, once you're semi-happy with your shape, we're going to fill that in. So because this is concealer, guys, you really want to set this hard. And I'm just very lightly tapping. I'm not aggressively swirling around. I'm working on top of that eyeshadow. I'm trying to be careful not to mix them. Okay, now for pigment today. Makeup Geek sent me some stuff. I've been using Makeup Geek for years. I actually have a code for that. I'll put in the description. Makeup Geek, this is Firefly Foiled Pigment. Now, these are, oh, lucky I was careful with that. There was no little slip on there. It's a very, I'd say, orangey bronze kind of shade, and that's the vibe we're going for today. So I'm going to very carefully apply that. This brush is perfect. You can tap this into the lid so you can use a bigger brush if you wish, but I reckon this is enough. Flies back, fucker. Ha! Got it. Die, bitch. Then we're going to listen to it die for 5 minutes. How morbid. It's a lot more lighter than I had expected, but here for it. I'm so sorry about that. Actually, I'm not. All right, we're going to go in with the brown. And I'm going to tap that into here. So bring more of our colour story in. What do you reckon at the moment? I like it. Right, liner. We're going in with a black liner, big black lashes, and then heaps of smoke underneath. Nude lip. Guys, we're nearly done. It actually wasn't that difficult. Okay, now we're just going to line this area with the Makeup Geek Full Spectrum Obsidian. Is that how you say it? Oh my God. Please tell me if that's right. It is the blackest black. Look at that, it's great. And filling all the gaps out into the lash line as well. We're going quite whorish under the eye, so we want to give it its moment. Ooh. Now we're going to smoke that out, all right? So a little bit. All we're doing is just slightly softening before we introduce our brown. Now smoking it out also can get into all the little divots. Get right into those lashes if you've missed it with the pencil. All right, now the brown. Okay, we're going to take some fierce lashes today to match a fierce look. These are charobella. Charobella? I probably said that wrong, to be honest. Wabisabi. Look, I'm Australian. I don't really know how to pronounce things very good. All right, and they are gorgeous. I've used these. This is probably my 12th time using these, and they're going strong. Lip. I'm loving this for a nude lately. This is the Morphe Pencil in Sweetheart. Now, a few of you guys DM'd me after my other tutorial. We're like, I need to get that shit. And it's a really nice nude. Not too pink, not too orange. We're going to line, fill. I might stick with a matte today. Might do a little bit of lip contouring with this brown. See how we go. And a little bit of lip contouring, because why not? Same with that cocoa brown. All right, guys, that is the finished look, and I don't mind it. Better than a kick in the dick. Don't you reckon? I do. So, look, it's quite easy to do. It is definitely a process. You got to put some time aside for it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned a thing or two. If you recreate it, I'd love to see it. Anyway, have a good weekend. Don't do drugs, and I'll chat to you in my next tutorial. See you guys.